Welcome everyone. My name is Jessica Rios. Here I have Miss Valerie Villarreal. She is our kindergarten teacher at my campus. She was a part of my committee who was helping in our collaborative team by way of representation across different committees on our campus for our implementation. Our implementation stemmed from trying to boost multicultural education and to become a multicultural responsive campus that aimed to try to boost student achievement for our student population, but also to be receptive and understanding and boosting the morale of our campus and our staff by getting to know that our implementation included methods which, of course, geared towards helping our majority representation on our campus, which included over 93% Latino students. We started off by having during our Hispanic Heritage Month, having a library exhibition where we had different books that were displayed for students to check out, and we saw a lot of circulation on behalf of the students as well as the teachers. We also included an after-school event in which we tried to boost parental involvement, as well as having a potluck for our campus for our staff to socialize and get to know one another. Now, Ms. Villarreal, as part of our interview, I just wanted to start off by asking you a couple of questions.
Sure.
What do you believe were contributing factors towards the success of our collaborative team?
I just think that we had like our committee, consisted not only of teachers, but we also had like our gym coach and stuff like that. Because I think it's very important to try to motivate and involve everybody on campus, to try to get them to roll out whenever we're doing something new or
right. And that's what we kind of aim to do. I know that to the success of every team, I mean, the more people that you involve, the better. That's definitely goes towards boosting our morale on our campus, where we're, I guess, fostering an environment of collectiveness and collaboration. And now moving on, how receptive was our staff towards our change?
I think at the beginning, some of them were a little, questioning, or they thought it was going to be like more work on them. But after, doing it and stuff like that, and, them seeing how the kids were actually enjoying it, and, the feedback we got from parents and stuff like that, I think it helped them, better understand that this was something good.
See, and I think because it was so relatively new to them, it was absolutely something different than what we had done before. I think that with any new implementation, there's always going to be some sort of resistance, no matter what. But I'm definitely proud that we did have a really good turnaround and good feedback from our campus. But of course, trials and tribulations of every plan, I mean, that's just a given. That's just going to happen. Now, moving on to our next question, how could we promote more participation and collaboration from our staff?
I think that one of the main things might be to make them more involved, like maybe having, instead of just like a little committee, also like rolling it out more during like faculty meetings and stuff like that. So they're more aware of, all the different steps and everything else that's going on. And it's just not like given to them at the end kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know we want to aim towards, again, sending this message to more people, because I know that, I mean, we were just a small committee, but we definitely want to boost our representation. So, I mean, for sure, I think faculty meetings is a good way to go about that. And in regards to, how do you think you grew professionally as part of our implementation this year?
I think it was just being able to experience this and being part of this committee was really beneficial to my growth, because I noticed how the parents were so involved, and then the kids were so enjoying it and checking out the books and things like that. Like, I noticed like getting to know them better helped me be better at my job and as a professional.
For sure. I mean, we just want to enhance our curriculum and, of course, our school by building connections. So, I mean, that's the way to go about it. Of course, building those connections with our students and boosting parental involvement. And how do you think this experience helped student learning?
I think it helped because it was something that was kind of relevant to them. And even though, you know, some of them might have known some of the stuff that we're taught or the books that we're checking out, they were getting to know new things.
Right.
That maybe they have seen out there, but were not really interested in because it had never been, you know, given such an importance as it was this time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know we use a lot of mentor text given to us by the district, but it's definitely good to kind of outsource and do our background research to again make it accessible to the students and make it easy for them to get a hold of different types of books. And how do you think the culture of the campus changed?
I think it changed in a way to that it was a little more parent oriented too. Like the parents were more involved. You know, they really enjoyed it. And I just think overall it was something really good for our school and for the school climate.
Sure. And how did the committee at our school help our implementation? Like, I know we had Coach Amaro through our shack. I know we had our site-based decision-making committee representatives. And how do you think that, I guess, played a role in our success of our implementation?
I think it was good because that was another way of getting, you know, the other staff involved. Because maybe if they weren't in our committee that we were doing, they were involved in different committees and they were like seeing some of it there and hearing about it there. So I think that was beneficial.
Do you think that our campus accepts change well? And if not, what do you think holds us back?
I think it does. I think we do pretty good with it. I think what kind of holds it back sometimes is just like you had mentioned earlier, it's just the providing something new. Mm-hmm. You know, you always have that resistance, and you know, our campus does have a lot of teachers that have been there for quite some years, and you know, you always get that like, well, we've never done it like that, or you know, I'm not used to that kind of thing. So just trying to break the ice with that, I think would be good.
Sure. And what do you think are going to be the long-term effects of our implementation?
I think the long term would be that we'll have much better like teacher and student connections. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but also teacher and parent connections, which I think is one of the most important ones because, you know, we both have to be on the same team in order to help the students.
Sure. And how do you think that this, I mean, I know we touched base about how it professionally grew you, but how do you think it overall grew you as an educator?
I think it just made me understand my students better. Mm-hmm. And like where they're coming from and their background and, you know, where the parents are coming from. You know, I was able to have more discussion with parents and with the students about, you know, more of their culture and their personal life. And I think that really helped me make better connections with my students and also with the parents, which is highly important.
And why do you think data is important towards the development and implementation of our school initiatives?
Well, data is always a big key and thing in our when anything that we do, because we always have to try to, you know, benefit the students and their academic needs.
For sure.
So I think data is super important to be able to see if this is also helping not only, you know, with their culture, but also with their academics.
Okay, and my last question, how can administrators support implementation on behalf of the teachers? I know that this was a lot of teacher-driven implementations, but how do you think a future administrator can support these initiatives?
I think one way that they can probably support them a little more is maybe them being in the committee. Mm-hmm. So they can be more aware of what's going on. And also maybe having more involvement with the parents. Maybe that's another thing we could do for next year is having parents in our committee.
Nice. That would,
you know, to have them help and get their feedback and their ideas. And I think it's really important to try to get everybody involved.
Well, Like I said, Ms. Villarreal, thank you so much for your time for your interview. Thank you so much for your cooperation. I look forward to, again, working with this implementation for next year. I appreciate your help and your participation, and you're definitely an asset to our campus.
You're welcome. Anytime. Bye.